Hello and welcome back to another episode of Clark and Addison, Born into the Ivy. We are your hosts, David and Eli. And we are back to talk about a lot of things that have happened, since our last episode with the Cubs. There really hasn't been a ton, but it's been more because it's been a minute since we've been on here. The Cubs have signed 3 players in this time period. They brought back Caleb Thielbar. I was extremely happy about that. At $4.5 million, not bad, really. Probably a little more than I anticipated, but I'm happy that they kept him. They lost Drew Pomeranz. They did sign a player named Hobie Milner. We'll talk about him here in a minute, but he's a lefty specialist. He's got a very unique motion and windup, and apparently, he doesn't strike out a ton of batters, but he's got a great ground ball rate and has throughout his career. So that's exciting. The last 3 years, it's been over 50%. That's definitely something that we need a lot of, for a guy to come in. He's averaged 64 innings or more in the last 4 seasons. 3 of those seasons was with Milwaukee. So this is extra cool to me because we're subtracting from Milwaukee this way too. You know what I mean?
You know who he reminds me of? With his motion and stuff? What's his name? Was it Steve Cishek for the Cubs not too long
The
ago?
lefty version of Cishek,
Uh-huh.
for sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's an excellent comp.
I love Steve Cishek.
And you don't see a guy throwing in that way often from the left side.
No.
It's definitely unique for sure. His K rate isn't high, but per 9, he's over 8 until last year for the previous 5 seasons. Last year was 7.42 for Ks per 9. He does not walk a ton of batters. I love that. And as long as he can keep the ball in the park and get induce ground balls, that's going to be huge, I think, for us. And he was signed at 1 year, $3.75 million. And then the other addition was Tyler Austin, a bat from Japan. Not the bat that some of us might have anticipated when you first heard a bat from Japan or a player from Japan. He's played in Japan the last 6 years. The last time he was in Major League Baseball was in 2019, where he hit 188 in 2019. Now, it looks like he has grown a lot. I know that playing in Japan is not quite the same as playing in the majors. He also was not a full-time player in Japan either. He had 65 at-bats. No, that's 65 games. He had 246 at-bats. So he was a full-time player when he played. I misread some of that. I apologize when I looked at it just now. His walk rate is over 10%. That's good. His K rate last 2 seasons has been under 20%, which is really good because when he went from the majors to Japan, his K rate was 37% in 19. So hopefully he's learned quite a bit. I'm going to assume he has. He's got some really good power numbers in Japan. He had 25 home runs and then 11 this past year. And about half the at-bats in 25 versus 24. I think he's a guy who hits lefties. I don't think. I know he's a guy who hits lefties well, or has in Japan. So hopefully that will continue to translate well when he comes back here. It's not like they took a big risk on him. He's 1 year, $1.25 million. My only, hesitation with all that is they did say that Bush was going to be more of a full-time player. So is Bush going to be more of a full-time player and DH some? Or is Austin going to DH some maybe? Because Ballesteros probably isn't going to hit against lefties too much, I wouldn't think. Would you agree?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
So maybe they're not planning on having Casey be on the ML roster right now, possibly, to start the season.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm thinking that would happen left, PCA at center. I'd like to see them get somebody to spell PCA a little more. Say I can play center, but that's not really ideal. You know what I mean? I don't know of anybody else on the roster right
Right.
now that they could play center and spell PCA against really tough lefties. Guys who just dominate lefties. PCA struggled mightily against lefties last year. And I don't think this. And I'm not saying let's protect him like they did with 100%, like they did with Bush all the time. He's playing against a lefty. Sit him. His defense is too good for that. But against really tough lefties, you got to have somebody who can sub in. And I guess because it's not like you're going to do it a ton that way. But then who's going to play right if you're doing that with Seiya? You need to sign a guy like Robbie F. Snyder. Like that's
too bad.
Be the perfect guy for that, to do that.
Too bad Harrison Bader went to the Mets yesterday.
Yeah. But I don't think that was ever really going to happen. Do you?
Right. I wish it did.
I love
that. Would have been perfect.
Would have been amazing. I would have loved it.
I think he played on the Mets already before, though, too.
Yeah. If they wanted,
he's been all around.
He has. It's been kind of like because he's a good ball player.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those guys that you really don't like him if he's not on your team, but you like him. You can admire what he does, but you love him when he's on your team because he's so high energy and he reminds you of PCA a little bit with the high energy type part. But he's not. I don't think he has the same ceiling that PCA does.
Oh, absolutely not.
But
he's like Ian Happ with more energy.
Yeah. Yeah. More likable.
Yeah.
When he's on your team. So I don't know, man. Like, and then you got Seiya right, who's going to hit against both, and then Matt Shaw, Dansby, Nico, Bush, and then Kelly and Amaya. I think are probably going to platoon. We just talked about the lefty versus righty with those guys, and I think Kelly probably starts out playing like 60% of the time. Amaya 40%. So Kelly will hit against some righties, but I think it ends up switching throughout the season. I think Amaya will have the better bat overall. I would be shocked if Kelly duplicates what he did offensively last year. Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
But as long as he could do somewhat like a little bit of that, Amaya is a better offensive catcher, I think. But is coming along a lot with his defense too. And I think that's a huge credit to Carson Kelly as well. And then you've got Ballesteros as a DH who can sub in at first base and catcher, but it doesn't make sense for him to sub in at first unless something's going on with Bush and he needs a couple of days off. Because they're both lefties and Bush is a superior defender there. But maybe Austin can sub out on occasion for that and or also hit DH when they're playing against lefties. Because I don't see Ballesteros getting a ton of opportunity against lefty pitchers in the DH spot. Do you?
No, not really. But I don't remember him hitting lefties much last year, but I remember when he played, he hit the ball, but I think those were all righties. I don't remember when he batted against a lefty, so I couldn't really give you a good answer if it's a good idea or not.
Ballesteros versus lefties had 4 at-bats, and he did not get a hit.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess that's not enough. I wonder what it was like in AAA. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. I guess my point to that is I don't see him getting a ton of opportunity.
Right.
Doesn't mean he won't get some, especially like if he's been subbed in and then they bring another lefty in. he's going to hit against the lefty. That's my guess is that's where he got
How that happened, yeah.
Yeah. I just don't think he's going to be given much of an opportunity for that. And so Refsnyder and or Austin can play more during that time. Seiya can DH, Refsnyder play in the outfield, or Austin DH while Seiya's still in the center or out in the, or Seiya in the center, Austin DHing, and Refsnyder or somebody else because obviously Refsnyder is not on the team as of right now. That's the type of guy that we need to sign, an outfielder who can crush lefties. Specifically. You know what I mean?
Right.
I love that guy, and I love the idea of them signing him. So I would feel a whole lot better if we could get one more proven guy who can be in high leverage. Would you as well?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm.
So since we've last talked, Drew Pomeranz signed for 1 year, $4 million. Kenley Jansen, 1 year, $11 million. Mark Leiter Jr., who may not be like your prototypical high leverage guy, but a guy that I like and did well in Chicago. Struggled some with the Yankees, but he signed for 1 year, $2.85 million. We couldn't have taken a chance with that on this guy. You know what I mean?
That's how I feel with Pomeranz too, but I guess it doesn't really matter with Hobie Milner since we got him.
Yeah, and I've seen that maybe we don't want 3 lefties at least to start out the year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see why somebody's saying that, but I don't. I really liked having 3 lefties in the bullpen last year. Luke Weaver signed for 2 years at $22 million. That's $11 million a year. Brad Keller, 2 years, $22 million at $11 million a year. Devin Williams, who said he wanted to come to Chicago, 3 years, $51 million at $17 million a year. I get that that's pretty pricey.
Right.
But those other 2, Luke Weaver and Brad Keller, $11 million. Yeah, that's starting to get pricey. But I would have felt
I think it's worth it.
One of those guys. Yeah.
Right.
Tyler Rogers, 3 years, $36 million, $12 million a year. I get not signing him at that price.
Yeah.
He's solid. He's much better than his brother was for us, but I still get it. You know what I mean? Robert Suarez, I would have loved this guy. 3 years, $45 million at $15 million a year. And he could have been a closer, man. He or Williams, either one. I don't think Palencia would have given 2 craps if he ended up being a primary setup man. Do you?
Just a reliever.
And he showed in the playoffs.
No, not at all. I think Palencia just wants to win games.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so. I love Daniel Palencia. Kyle Finnegan, 2 years, $19 million. I'm glad they didn't sign him. Steven Matz, 2 years, $15 million, $7.5 million a year. Now, I'll say this. I did hear that the Rays might be turning him back into a starter. If that's the case, the Cubs weren't going to be able to compete with that. You know what I mean? Michael Soroka, 1 year, $7.5 million. I'm kind of glad we didn't sign him for that.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think it would have been that bad.
I don't disagree. And he had good numbers as a reliever for us. And he's had good numbers as a reliever before. So
I think he just wants to start.
By that, I just worry that it might have been too much. Like, I don't know. I feel like we could have done better, but I'm starting to wonder now. You know what I mean?
Right.
Emilio Pagan signed for 2 years, $20 million at $10 million a year. Iglesias, I was surprised at what he signed for with the Braves. 1 year, $16 million. I couldn't believe that. Like he struggled. He had a great second half last year, but he struggled in the first half. And he's he's still the closer. They've got Suarez and Iglesias in Atlanta now. And then Gregory Soto, 1 year, $7.75 million. These are the guys that I'm hopeful that we can get still. Shelby Miller. He ended the year with a 2.74 ERA last year with two teams, 46 innings. He was hurt for a little bit. I really like the idea of getting him, especially if they can get him for around 6, 7, 8 million, maybe 6 to 8 million. Sean Newcomb. My iPad's being silly. Hold on. Sorry. He had a 2.73 ERA last year in 92 and 1/3 innings pitched, 48 games. I mean, this is like a 2-inning guy. That would be great, wouldn't it?
Mm-hmm.
A 45% ground ball rate, 23.3% K rate, which I think was low for him. Let me go double check that. My iPad's being silly again. Sorry. It wasn't terribly low, I guess. 8.87 per 9 innings. He has had better, but not continuously. Pete Fairbanks, I don't know about this, but I still think it's worth putting out there. His ERA was 2.83. He's done really good for the Rays the last several years. He's been a solid closer. Had 25, 23, and 27 saves the last 3 years. I would almost feel better, though, bringing him in as another setup man type guy and let Palencia close at that point. What do you think?
I agree. I mean, I obviously love the idea of Daniel Palencia closing, especially since he has like a really different velocity change from most of the people in the bullpen. So I think that strategy is great for the ninth inning.
Agreed. The other guy that I really like, and this is probably my ultimate preference, maybe between he and Shelby Miller, Sir Anthony Dominguez. And again, my iPad's being silly. I don't know what is going on here. I'm sorry. But he struck out 30% of the batters he faced last year. He is a little bit
that's pretty
susceptible
solid
to the long ball, though, at times. He pitched with the Blue Jays last year. Is a really good pitcher, though, man. Like, I feel like this is the kind of guy that would be very, very beneficial to the Cubs in a setup role and kind of I think Maton with that curveball can get lefties out too if Theobar's already been used. And then Dominguez can be like just I don't know. I mean, the other, because you need 3 or 4 other high leverage guys besides your closer.
Right.
And then if Porter Hodge can come in and do that too, I mean, I like I love if you add Dominguez and Hodge, even without Hodge, but I think Hodge, if he can get that feeling back, I love the makeup of the bullpen at that point. Don't you?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love Porter Hodge. I think he has a lot of potential still that he still hasn't shown, but
and I think people
he has some nasty pitches.
The other part of Dominguez, I said that he's to be a little more susceptible to the long ball. He also walked almost 14% of his the batters he faced last year. That's awfully high too. That's not atypical though when you're talking about somebody who strikes that many out. You know what I mean? He can be a bit wild at times. But his ERA was 3.16. His expected ERA was 3.23, and his FIP was 3.47. So he's maybe a little bit of luck, but overall pretty in line with that. He gave up 5 home runs in 62 and 2/3 innings last year, but the year before he gave up 12. And if I remember right, he gave up 2 in the playoffs this year for the Blue Jays.
Not ideal.
One of them in the World Series against the Dodgers that hurt. There's one other guy that I want to talk. Well, two other guys. Just touch on one of the guys that we were hoping to sign for a starter, Michael King, re-upped with the San Diego Padres this past week. 3 years, $75 million. Amai is still out there, and the Yankees don't seem like they haven't even talked to him yet, supposedly, and aren't overly optimistic about getting him. I think that there's a bigger chance that we sign him than what's being talked about. And I would love that. That's the guy that if they could sign him and get one of those guys, Miller, Newcomb, Dominguez, maybe even Fairbanks, I feel a whole lot better about our overall pitching staff at that point. Do you?
Oh yeah.
We haven't even talked about. I think Colin Ray could help be a high leverage type guy too at times.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah. I love Colin Ray. I love what Colin Ray did last season.
I've also heard rumblings that they're talking about turning Ben Brown into a full-fledged reliever now, if they don't trade him.
I feel like you have to trade him with the package with like Seiya. I think you can end up getting quite a bit out of both of them together.
I don't think you're going to get much out of Ben right now until you prove his value somewhere else.
Right.
I think he would be like a throw-in guy. I would rather see somebody like Jordan Wicks get thrown into a deal like that.
It sucks that guy didn't end up, getting where he needed to be. I had high hopes for Jordan Wicks 2 or 3 years ago.
There's a lot of rumblings about a trade with Miami Marlins still too, whether it be for Cabrera or Alcantara. And I still say I think Sandy Alcantara is going to be a Cy Young candidate next year. Like, I love the idea of trading for him. But if we can keep some of the players we've got and use that for another trade or something else and sign Amai, I'm ecstatic about signing Amai as well. That possibility.
Mm-hmm.
So the Cubs have 9 potential free agents after the 2026 season. Matthew Boyd, Seiya Suzuki, Ian Happ, Nico Horner, Jameson Taillon, Shota Imanaga, Colin Ray. That's a little tricky because he does have a club option for the 2028 season or 2027 season. So Carson Kelly and Caleb Thielbar. Of those 9, who would be your first priority to re-sign to an extension, and who would be your second?
Nico, number 1. It's not even a question. Nico is the heart and soul of the Cubs team. He is the Chicago Cubs. I think, the trade rumors and stuff that's going on is a lot of BS. And obviously, I hope the Cubs don't end up going through with it because, again, he is the heart and soul of this team. And you can't get rid of a guy who gets on base more than anybody else. Like, who are you going to get from the Giants that gets on base like Nico Horner? Nobody.
I think the only way that they do that is if they think there's no way they can re-sign him.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the case.
I think that's impossible.
I think that one of the Cubs camp or Horner's camp put this out there or help make sure it kind of got – because it did get leaked out before the Giants wrote about it. Somebody for the Giants wrote about it, that the Giants wanted him. But I think that that's a good sign, and this is why. Because I think that they may be already talking about an extension. And so somebody's trying to get leverage there. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I would sign him.
And then for my number 2 spot.
I like the idea of signing him. He's my number 1 guy too. I love the idea of signing him for like 5 years, $100 million. Give him 20, 21 million. I mean, I would even go up to 25. I just think that might be a little expensive because he doesn't have the power numbers.
I don't think that's expensive for Nico.
He doesn't have the power numbers, but he is so good defensively that it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
and with the bat. Like, the dude is amazing. I love Nico Horner. Of the current crop of players,
Then for my
he was the first jersey I had of the current crop of players.
Oh yeah, he was my second.
I got him over
Number
Happ.
one, I think, was Matt Shaw. Wait, no, I got PCA, and then Matt Shaw, and then Nico. Unfortunately, but I got a pretty cool Nico jersey out of it, the Field of Dreams one. So
That is a pretty cool jersey.
yeah.
Your dad's
Okay, the number 2 spot, I got Matthew Boyd. What Matthew Boyd did this season was unbelievable for what we thought he was going to do. I know the second half of the season he started to slow down, but in the playoffs he recollected everything that he did, and then he showed up in the playoffs and did really well. So I think Matthew Boyd, and hearing his story and stuff, should stay with the Chicago Cubs.
I would love that.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably third on my priority list, though. I'm going to say, I've gone back and forth about this, and we talked about this a little bit. Carson Kelly. And I say that
he was my third.
Not because, no, he's your third, Kelly is?
Yep.
I think the Cubs have a ton of catcher depth right now in the organization. But what Carson Kelly has done this past year with the pitching staff and what the turn he made offensively, I don't expect him to duplicate that offensive season from a year ago. I think that was probably his career year. But if he can have some kind of a semblance of that and continue to work with the pitching staff the way he has and continue to teach Miguel Amaya, who I think is that guy offensively, and kind of switch roles where Amaya is 60% of the time and Kelly's 40% of the time, I love that idea. Carson Kelly, I think, has been one of the most underrated players on the team. And I think that I don't think a lot of casual fans understand how important handling a pitching staff is for a catcher, with a catcher, and how hard that is. And he makes it look so freaking easy.
Mm-hmm.
So easy. I love the guy. And I would love to see them keep him. And I don't think it would take a ton of money to do. So
I'm going to have to agree with everything there besides, the most underrated player. I think the most underrated player was definitely Colin Ray. Most definitely Colin Ray.
That's fair enough. Fair. That's fair. Most underrated offense or position player. How about that?
Okay. I agree with that one.
I think Nico's underrated. I don't think he's valued correctly either by everybody. But I think he gets way more love than Carson does.
Oh, yeah.
Cool. Tell us what you think. Who do you think the Cubs should re-sign? Who first and second priority of those guys? Give us your thoughts. And as soon as we get some more information, we'll try and both jump on here. If we can't, then I'll jump on here and give some thoughts real quick before we can get on here and talk about it together. If we can get some kind of big trade or a big signing, that we need a couple more pieces for sure added to this team. Until then, if we don't talk to you before, everybody have a Merry Christmas. Thank you very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Smash the like button if you're listening on any listening platforms, or if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to follow us, leave some comments, and give us a like. Everybody have a great day.
Go Cubbies.